Hey you guys, how are you? Thankful to be here with you and thought that I would challenge you to do a challenge that I'm going to be doing myself, but something I actually do at least once a year. I have done this over the last few years, and it has been geared towards husbands and as wives making sacrificial efforts to love our husbands in a unique way. And what I would like for you to do is that if you are not married, you can do this challenge with your children. You can do this challenge with a friend. This definitely is not just for husbands, although that is what the Lord has really called me to do, is to empower us to love our husbands better, to be the thing that only we can be for our husbands. That's, our relationships, our marriages, they're not just to make us happy. It's part of the sanctification process. And I don't know if you've ever been told that before, but our whole life's journey is to make us more like Christ. So every situation we're involved in, every challenge, every trial, all the stuff, it is to make us become more like Christ, not to be conformed to the world. And so I want to make sure you know that, and make sure you know that if there are some of you who are saying, Cheneil, like, I don't have it in me, like, I cannot do this for my husband, please know that I have been there, even been there recently, and there's places in my heart where sometimes I'm like, I don't have anything nice to say. I cannot bring myself to do any extra, but we want to become more like Christ, right? We want to do our due diligence. We want to do the right thing, because when we stand before the Lord, we are held accountable for what we were responsible for. And we are responsible for loving our husbands in a unique way, in a way that only we can love them. And so this is just a fun, different, unique way to do a little mini challenge for 7 days. And so what I wanted to share with you on this video is just the things that you're going to need to do the challenge. I am basically doing tons of the hard work for you. However, the hardest part of all of this is actually doing it. You're going to have to do it. So even though I'm taking care of so much for you guys, every day you're going to pull up your email, open your email, and there's going to be a very simple prayer and focus for that day. And I'm going to literally tell you the prayer, and there's going to be little blanks in there where you're going to put your husband's name. So you're going to be literally praying over him. I'm going to tell you the words. And what I have found in my own journey, just like I've written my book, Miracles in the Mess, I needed specific words to pray. And there's often days, a lot of days, where I just need a guide. I can sit with the Lord and I do that and He talks to me. But so many times I need a guide to know what to say, to how to get started. And so that's exactly what it is. Those prayers are actually going to be coming from this book. So I am not taking credit for any of the prayers. I'm literally copying word for word. I'm just telling you that so that you don't think that I've done it. So I'm not trying to plagiarize or anything, but this is all coming from her. But it's a 31-day journal book. So I'm going to give you 7 of these prayers, and then you need to go buy the book and you need to finish doing this. You guys, I have added this back into my routine every single day because I was seeing so many miraculous things happen from doing this book. I'm telling you right now, the first 30 days I did it, I wasn't really seeing a whole lot. I read it for the next 30 days and I was seeing things that I had not ever seen before. And so I promise you, just going before the Lord as an advocate for your husband is super important. So if you don't have the book, you need to get the book, and because you're going to want to finish it. So basically your email is going to include the prayer, and then it's going to include basically an encouraging word, an affirming word for your husband. So these are some of the materials that you are going to need. Number 1, you're going to need an open heart and an open mind. If you don't have an open heart and an open mind, you're not going to get anything out of this. He's not going to get anything out of this, and it's liable to not be good. So just come into this with an open heart and an open mind to be willing to do things that maybe you haven't done in a long time, maybe you've never done. You just never know what God's going to do. So we got to have an open heart and open mind. Number 2, you need to have sacrificial time set aside to pray for your husband. So in my humble opinion, that means it cannot be in a break time at school during the middle of the day. It can't be at the very end of the day. Now, if that's what you have found to work for you, that is fine. But what I have found in my own personal journey, that if I'm not waking up a little before everybody else in my house, when it's calm, when I can hear from the Lord, when I can have that peace and quiet and actually praying words over my husband, it doesn't happen. and then it's an afterthought, and then we expect things to change, but we're not making any sacrifice to go before the Lord. So it's kind of like saying, well, God, I don't really have time for you, and I'm not willing to make time for you, but please, God, show up and do these things for me. And I just don't believe it works that way. I believe God can do anything, but I don't believe that that's how we get our prayers answered. So make sacrificial time to do these. How amazing would it be if you've already prayed for your husband and you've already written out these little quotes, these little affirming words that I'm going to be giving you before he even wakes up, and it's there for him to look at, and you've already prayed for him. I feel like it will change your day and his day. Not I feel like, I know, because I've seen the effects on my life. So you need a notebook. See, like this is exactly the notebook my husband and I use. A notebook that you can keep record of. I used to do these on the mirror. Don't do it on the mirror because then you don't have a record of it. You're going to need reminders. We all need reminders, so we can flip back through there and say, oh, this is when we were being nice to each other. This is when we were telling each other we loved each other. It's a great tool to have for you to reflect on, and you can also show this to your kids one day, and it's good for them to see that you're writing love notes to each other. So get a blank binder or get some blank pieces of paper. I had my kids make a gratitude journal last week with literally these little zip ties and some pieces of paper. So you can make your own little journal. Matter of fact, be crafty. Make your own fun little love note journal, and you can title it Love Notes. So you're going to need the binder though. That's because I'm going to be giving you some little quotes, some little affirming words that you can write to your husband. I'm going to give you ideas that you can write to him. So that's going to be part of that daily email. If you want to add to it, if you want to do something different, great. Again, I don't know about you, but a lot of times I just need guidance. I need that, oh, well, this is what she wrote, so I can write something similar. It just sparks those creative juices in our minds. So you do need the notebook. Number 4, you are going to need some materials to do the challenges every day. And when I say materials, I mean one of the challenges is to think about a meal, like his favorite meal, and try to get that on the menu for the week. Now, I understand that with circumstances right now, you may not be able to do that, but put that on the list to do before the end of the week. Other materials, you're gonna maybe need a nightgown, something you've not worn in a while, just as a little tip. There's different materials that I'm going to suggest that you use, that you do, but I'm going to give those to you. Actually, they're here below in this email. If you don't see them or whatever and you need those, let me know. But I wanted to give you all of that up front, and then I will give you the challenge for the day. So if you want to follow what I'm telling you to do, great. If not, you can swap up the days, which would work better for you and your family. Totally fine too. So that's basically how this is going to work. You're going to open up the email. I'm going to give you exactly what you need to do for the day, and then report back to me. We're doing this via email. We're not even doing this in a Facebook group or anything like that right now. So tell me how things are going for you. Tell me the results you're getting. Most of all, I think when I do these challenges, you guys know I do fitness and nutrition challenges on a monthly basis. I do all kinds of accountability challenges, and the reason that I do that is to keep me accountable, and to keep me changing, and to keep me growing. And so my heart and my prayer is that you're doing this because you want to make a change in your own heart and in your own marriage, and you're not doing this so that he changes. And if that is why you're doing this, I hope we change our perspective, because we shouldn't be doing anything in hopes that somebody else makes a change. We should be doing something in that and hoping that God will change us. And so I want to say a quick prayer about that and over our challenge, and then we'll get going. Thank you, God, so much for just putting this on my heart to do during this time. God, I'm always need to improve. I always need to do things better, God. I need you to show me how to do that, and I need that conviction, God. I just ask that you would do that in each of our hearts. Just convict us in areas that we need to make changes, that we need to do better, God, that we need to be more like you. God, you have given us a very specific assignment to be the wife to our husband. God, that was an assignment that you knew about before we were even born. You gave us these men, you gave us this family, you gave us our children to love and to be this person in their life that nobody else can be, God. And I just ask that you would convict our heart so much so that we recognize just the vital role that we have in our homes and in these relationships, God. I just ask that you would just cover us in boldness and cover us in just a supernatural spirit. Just cover us in your spirit that we would boldly act and do and say and pray and get up and do all the things that's required of a challenge, God. A challenge means that we're willing to go above and beyond. We're willing to do the hard stuff because we know that it matters, God. And so I just ask that you would just change our hearts, change our minds, do a work in us, and then just show us miracles, God. That's my big prayer, is that you would do a miracle in each one of our homes, in each one of our hearts, in each one of our lives, because we've been obedient to just go beyond and go the extra mile for you and for our families. I ask for a hedge of protection, God. Anytime we are being intentional in our lives with our relationships, we know that the devil is going to come and attack. He is going to do everything he can to try to prevent love and prevent unity. So God, I just ask that you would protect each one of our homes, protect each one of our hearts, just guard us, put your angels around our homes, God, that we can do these things in boldness and that we can see your love and see changes being made, because we know that you're faithful and we know that that's going to happen. God, we just love you and we thank you in your precious name. Amen. All right, bye guys.